I had no idea that you could have been a Friday.
So it wasn't Friday. It was, I want to say, Baby Boy. And that I had a little, rest in peace, John Singleton. I had a little falling out with him just because he was telling me about the movie, and it ended up being a role that didn't even make the movie. And for me to be young and to say no at that time, again, it kind of made me feel kind of empowered because I was like, I love John and I loved everything that he did film wise. He was a huge part of our culture. Again, rest in peace. He was a cool homie of mine. But what he wanted me to do in the movie, I was just like, you're joking, right? It was gonna be some scene where I don't know if it was Snoop or somebody was gonna come upstairs and I was gonna be under the covers, eating some girl out. And you pull back the covers, Alex Thomas, and he whoops my ass and beats me down. He's like, it would just be a quick cameo. I'm like, I don't want to be known as the coochie eating comedian that got one line before I got stomped the fuck out. And you know what I mean? I told him no. He was mad at me. He was upset, but I was like, I don't know if that's just going to be a great thing for my role. I mean, is there some other shit I could do before I eat the coochie and die? Like, can I have a shootout scene? Can I make love to somebody first? Can I do something great before I get shot in the back of my head for eating somebody's girlfriend's coochie? And so as you know, if you saw Baby Boy, that scene didn't make it, and I said no, and John was a little mad at me, but hey, it is what it is. Look at you. You cannot stop laughing. This is what you wanted on the art of dialogue. I know. I know. I see you laughing. Yeah.
What was his reaction when you turned it down?
No, he was almost like, how dare you say no to me? Like, I'm John Singleton, and I'm like, I know I'm a fan. I love what you do, and I would have loved to have another role, just not coochie eater number 2. You know what I mean? Now I got to be out in the streets. Hey man, ain't you the one that was eating old girl coochie and they shot you 3 times in the back? Yeah, that's me. Yeah, you don't eat coochie no more, do you? You know what I mean? Has the last coochie you own ate? You know what I mean? I wasn't that desperate. You know what I mean?
I mean, at that point, when he asked you to do that role, you was in some good movies, man. So, I mean, he could have gave you a better role than that.
And you took the words out of my mouth. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna mention no names, but there's some guys out there that probably would have loved to eat the coochie for a check and be known as the coochie eater. And now you in the streets. Oh my God, girl, they go the coochie eater. I was good on that one. So
Yeah, at that point in your career, yeah, he should have offered you a better role. But I did see somewhere where you made a comment about how you was offered to be in Friday, right? But at that point in your career, you was tired of doing black movies.
oh yeah, 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 yeah. It did come up, and then my whole thing was, it's nothing against black movies, but what happens is because that's what made me famous. You know what I mean? But it comes a point in your career where you try to diversify. You don't want to just the only thing they see you in is the hood. You know what I mean? I was really trying to do some other things. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, that happened around the same time I got offered to do the movie Castaway. Castaway Goes Down is one of the biggest movies of all time, right? And a lot of people don't know this story, but I'm on the art of dialogue. So I might as well dig in for something you didn't even know. And I haven't really told this story a lot, but man, I thought Castaway was going to change my life. So that was one of the reasons I said no to that Friday. I don't remember which Friday it was. I couldn't remember because he did so many. But it all happened around the same time. And I'm like, go do this all black hood movie or go do this movie with one of the biggest actors of all time, Tom Hanks and Helen Hunt. This could change my life, right? So I took the role in Castaway. I'm like, man, finally, thank you, Jesus. Mama, I made it. I love my black people, but it's time for your boy to try to explore his horizons. You know what I mean? Long story short, it took us almost 2.5 years to shoot Castaway. The reason it took so long, if you remember, that's when Tom Hanks also did The Green Mile. We had to take a year off. He had to lose like 100 pounds because remember, he lost all the weight to look, like he hasn't eaten in months from being stranded on an island. You saw the movie. So he literally stopped one movie, went to go do another movie. We came back. Long story short, I was the fleet manager at FedEx before the plane took off. A whole scene with Tom Hanks and Helen Hunt. I got the pictures to prove it. I'm like, my life is about to change. How about 2 weeks before the premiere? I actually got a suit made, Art, for the premiere so I could be fly as hell. My life's about to change. I'm finally in a huge white movie. How about they call me and tell me they cut my role out of the movie? It's almost like, when you hear rappers, they did an album and they had like 16 songs, but the label said you could only put 12 on there or 13. So it just doesn't make it time-wise. So they got to figure out a few things to cut. And my scene did not make the movie. I was crushed. When I tell you it was the saddest I've ever been, I don't want to tell you the thoughts I had going through my head. Like, I can't believe this is happening. I just turned down that Friday movie, right? And I get cut out this movie. I was crushed. I'm like, my career's over. How about cut two? I want to say a year and a half, 2 years after the movie, and my depression of being like, man, what am I going to do with my life now? I get a residual check from Castaway. I was like, wait, what? And this is once I got with at that time, my girlfriend. And she knew about all the movies I got, but now she's living with me and she starts seeing residual checks. So she could see the residual checks from movies I was in, TV shows. One day she opens up a Castaway check and was like, oh my God. She like, first of all, that's one of my favorite movies of all time. I ain't never seen you in Castaway. I was like, because I got casted away out of Castaway. How about I had no clue that even though I didn't make the movie, when you get cut out of a movie that deep into the production, you still get paid. I was crushed. I was hurt. I'm a little angry to this day because that really, truly could have changed my life. That means the average white person in America would have known who I was. When I walk into my country club, they would have known who I was. I could have went into a Jewish synagogue and they would have, it's one of the biggest movies in movie history at that time. I would have transcended from the hood movies to it's kind of like when Dave Chappelle did You've Got Mail with Tom Hanks. If you look back, he had done a bunch of black things, but when he did that movie with Tom Hanks, now white people knew who he was. You get what I'm saying? It could have changed my life. But long story short, I couldn't believe the check came. I couldn't believe how much it was. And the story, long story short, is you don't see me in the movies, but I still get Castaway checks to this day. Would I have rather been in that movie? Absolutely, because guess what? There's a saying in Hollywood, and it's called work gets you work. If I had been in that movie, dude, the offers would have been crazy because it immediately makes you beyond legitimate when you're with a superstar actor like that. And it just happened to be my scene was with Tom Hanks and Helen Hunt. So I got casted away out of Castaway, but I still get them Castaway checks. You feel me?